Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about Ethereum and its valuation against Bitcoin. It has been a long journey, and by that I mean 24 days into January, and look at what Ethereum has accomplished. Look at this. We've completely erased all of the losses we saw since September, and it has moved back up to the top of what we had previously said back over here would be our next reaccumulation zone. Back over here, we said we're likely going to move back up into this region, and we're going to be in this region for a long time. And you can see we have been in it for a long time. We've been in it, we were partially in it in July, August, September, October, November, December, and January. And boy, was it a journey. If you put on the moving averages from the 20 month to the 50 month in 1 month. This is February. Make sure you guys subscribe, by the way. We have almost 100,000 subscribers, so I figured we'll probably get there sometime today. So thank you guys for subscribing. It means a lot. And also check out the links and whatnot in the description below. But regardless, Ethereum has moved from the 20 month to the 50 month in a month, in less than a month. And in fact, right now we are above the 50 month moving average, and we've made a decent push up higher. The local top for Ether Bitcoin is now 0.004497. Right now we're at 0.0426, just cooling down a little bit. Okay, so the thing now is Ethereum has moved back up to its prior all-time high. We did a video on this just yesterday, actually saying that if it followed Bitcoin, it would move past its prior all-time high, basically when it did. And obviously, I'm not going to claim that I called that or anything, because I was just saying, if it followed what Bitcoin did, then this is what would happen. And then it seems that, okay, well, so far, it did follow what Bitcoin did. Now remember, the next thing that Bitcoin did though was, so Ethereum, so let's look at this really quick. So Bitcoin, what it did was it went up to its prior all-time high, and then about 5 days later, it moved past it, moved sideways for a little bit, ultimately did dip back down, and then maybe a couple weeks later, it blasted off. Now again, Ethereum will likely follow its own path. Okay, it's likely not going to do exactly what Bitcoin did. So that's something to keep in mind. But there are a lot of similarities, because Ethereum came up to its prior all-time high up here at around 1400, dipped all the way back down. 5 days later, it broke past it. We'll see what happens over the next few days, if we can continue on up, or if we come back down for a little and then break it later on. It's not really a big deal either way. Obviously, a lot of this will depend on just the general health of Bitcoin as well. But we have in fact moved back up above the 50-month moving average. So we are above not only the top, just measured as what the top was against this Bitcoin valuation. We've moved past the 50-month moving average, and we've come close to the top of our uptrend channel that we have been following for over a year. We've been following this for over a year. We've talked, you guys know me. I don't really change these lines that frequently. I think I changed the blue one once in the last year and a half, just to slightly tweak it when we came over here and put this in. But this is basically what we've been looking at on this channel for over a year now, right? We don't tend to redraw the lines. We just like to put them on there. Let's observe the momentum shift. Remember, this channel is not about day trading. It's about timing key momentum shifts in the market, just like we discussed at the end of December for Ethereum, that January would likely bring a momentum shift in the Ether Bitcoin valuation. Now, in the same manner, you might be wondering, well, okay, let's look at this. We were at the bottom, we moved to the top, we came back to the bottom, and then we came to the halfway point, and then back to the bottom, and then back to the top, back to the bottom, and then basically to the halfway point. And then we came all the way down here. Now, first of all, these are imaginary lines on a chart. Ethereum doesn't have to respect them at all. its valuation against Bitcoin does not need to respect them at all. But in the same manner in which we came below the lines, it's theoretically possible that we come above them and then come back down or something. It's also possible we just continue trending on up for a while. So we want to it's obviously always important to consider the risks of the market, and we talk about the risks of the market all the time on this channel, but we also don't want to tease ourselves into thinking that it has to always stay in these lines, because it hasn't, right? There's been over a couple weeks where we came below it. So let's see what happens. Let's see what transpires over the next few weeks. We have one more week in January. So hopefully, at the very least, Ethereum can at least trend upwards for another week. Bitcoin basically stole the show for basically the entire month of December. And so far, Ethereum has been running things in January. So maybe we'll get another push this week, and we'll see if we can break above it and see ultimately how high we can go. Again, this is not financial advice. I ultimately have no idea what's going to happen in the short term. It's more so how you react to what happens in the market that's more important than pretending like we know exactly what's going to happen and then claiming victory whenever what we say whenever what we think will happen actually does happen. So let's just say right now we're at the top of this theoretical reaccumulation range. So we've talked about for a long time. It more or less ranges from 0.028 to 0.042 or 0.043 or so. And another thing that I thought was pretty cool, you guys will like this. If we look to see where we bottomed, we also had a similar bottom here. And look how similar these things are. So at this point, we've continued to move up after this bottom. If you kind of just trace it backwards, we ultimately fell from around the 0.07 valuation region. So I don't know if we're going to make it there in the short term or not, but with the Bitcoin dominance falling, it's fallen about 10% in January alone. If this were to continue for a couple more months, and we just see this systematic sideways movement of Bitcoin or either it's bleeding or moving sideways, something like this, then I imagine that Ethereum could continue to shine for a long time. But we'll want to keep a close eye on it and a close eye on Bitcoin to identify this as we move along. So right now the price of Bitcoin is at 33,000, around 33,474, so almost 33.5K. And Ethereum is at 1426. We know that Bitcoin has been generally in a downtrend here for the last several weeks at this point, and we know the bull market support band is all the way down here for Bitcoin. But as long as we keep getting this type of movement for Bitcoin, then it seems like there's a decent chance Ethereum will continue to shine against Bitcoin. We've followed it literally every single day almost for January. We have a video on Ethereum coming out like every other day or something. So we'll keep following it. We'll see if we can push above, maybe come above the channel, and see ultimately how high we will go. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. Check out the premium list at intothecryptoverse.com. You can find a link to that in the description below. Weekly reports, weekly videos, a risk dashboard, trading view indicators, the whole 9 yards. Make sure you guys check it out, intothecryptoverse.com. At the very least, subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. I'll see you next time. Bye.